Unboxing and review of the Donner DTL-100 electric guitar kit. The Donner DTL-100 is a Telecaster style electric guitar, and it's one of Donner's cheaper guitars. And I've never seen it before, so I don't know if I've just missed it or if it's new to the Donner range. Before we take a look at the actual guitar, let's take a look at what it says about it on the website. On the website, it's described as the Donner DTL-100 electric guitar kit, 39 inches length, Tele style with a poplar body and SS pickups. For those of you who are not familiar with guitar speak, that means they're single coil pickups. And it comes with a gig bag. But as you can see from the picture there, it obviously comes with some other accessories like a strap, a lead and a small amp. Looking through the pictures at the top of the web page, most of the features described are pretty standard for a Telecaster style guitar. However, it's worth pointing out that it's got through body string anchoring, which is considered a lot better by most guitarists than the old bridge string anchoring system. If we take a look at the details, it says it's got classic SS pickups. Dual single coil pickups deliver crisp Texas blues and rock tones with dynamic clarity. It's got a comfortable maple neck, C-shaped Canadian maple neck with a laurel fingerboard ensures smooth playability. It's got 22 frets and a tone control. It's got 22 copper nittle frets with clear markers and flexible tone adjustment for precise sound shaping. It's got a 3-way pickup selector, easily switch between tones for rich expressive sound across different music styles. And it comes complete with accessories, including a gig bag, strap and a cable. If you want to take a proper look at the details of the guitar for yourself, along with the price in your country, I'll put the link down below in the description, hopefully along with the discount code. Before I get on with the unboxing, for complete transparency, Donner provided this guitar for me to review. However, I don't get any commission if you buy the guitar, so if you choose to buy it or not doesn't have any effect on me, so you can be assured that the review will be honest. The unboxing. This was ordered through the Donner UK website, and it took about a week to arrive. And the box is the usual size you'd expect for an electric guitar, and it arrived in very good nick. The box opens at the top, so you have to slide the guitar out, and this is a little bit awkward. And you can see they've stored the extras away alongside the head of the guitar. There's a bag of accessories, an amplifier in its box, and the instructions are underneath the guitar itself. Once I've taken the accessories out, I can take the guitar out, which is in its case for safekeeping. There you have it, the contents of the box. There's the guitar in its case, the amplifier in its box, and a bag of accessories. There's also an instruction manual that covers everything from tuning the guitar up right the way to changing strings. I'm aware I'll probably have to charge up the amp before trying it, so I'll open the box for the amplifier first and take a look what's in there. Obviously I'm speeding up the unboxing parts so the video doesn't get too long or too boring. In the box is the amplifier itself, a USB charging lead and some basic instructions. Since the last time I reviewed a Donner Mini amp, they've changed an awful lot. In fact, it's a completely different amp. And I must admit, I prefer the look and feel of this amp, though we'll find out what it sounds like later. As I suspected, it needs charging up, so I'll charge it using the provided USB lead and just a standard mobile phone charger. So you know it's charging, there's a red LED, and once it's charged, the LED goes green. It took a couple of hours to charge up, but the battery was completely flat. Right, let's finish unpacking the guitar so we can take a proper look at it. Inside the case, the guitar's in a soft plastic bag, which protects the finish of the guitar during shipping. Once I've removed the guitar from the soft plastic bag, there's still a few more bits of packaging to be removed. The strings are covered in brown greaseproof paper with an anti-moisture pocket. This is to prevent rusting during storage. And under the strings are the retail tags, which are tied to one of the machine heads. The headstock is really attractive because the grain really stands out. You could almost call it figured. The labels could potentially be useful because there's a chord chart and a string action ruler. Back to the body end, and there's a piece of plastic over the pickup selector switch. I'm assuming it's to prevent it from being bent during shipping. And the neck pickup has got a protective layer of film on it. And so does the scratch plate. This is my least favourite job, as it can be really fidgety. Fortunately, this time the film came off quite quickly and quite cleanly. Before I start handling the guitar and taking a good look at it, here's a slideshow of how the guitar looks when it's brand new, straight out of the box, before I put finger marks on it. The music I'll have playing in the background will be improvised using this guitar, and I'll play each riff 3 times, once with the pickup selector switch in the neck position, then in the middle position, and finally in the bridge position, and I'll repeat this. I discovered a few things whilst I was recording that test. The first thing is that the sound is really good. Because of how they described it on the website, I used a kind of blues sound, semi-distorted with plenty of reverb, and to me it sounded great. The pickup selector switch is really solid, so I could change pickups quickly and easily. For me, the action was a little bit high, at just over 2mm on the bottom E string at the 12th fret, and exactly 2mm on the top E string at the 12th fret. However, after I inspected the guitar properly, I found the neck profile was a little bit bowed. But after 3/4 turns with the provided Allen key, that soon came out. I'll have to do a separate video on how to set up a Telecaster style guitar, as it's really easy to set one up, and it's daft to write a guitar off just cause the action is slightly high, especially a guitar of this price. Once I'd corrected that bow, the guitar is really nice to play. The edges of all the frets are really smooth, there's no sharpness. However, they would benefit from a bit of a polish. The strings feel quite nice, they're certainly better than acceptable. I'd guess they were 9s, and they sound and feel quite nice, so there's no need to swap these out, certainly not straight away. Working down from the headstock, the tuners or machine heads have got the Donner logo on, and this is the first time I've seen that. And they're the modern type, which I much prefer, but that's just my personal preference. And they work very nicely. They're very sensitive, so I'm reckoning the gear ratio is quite low, but they still work well. I do like the wood the neck's made of, which is Canadian maple. However, this particular piece of wood is very figured. It's got a very pronounced grain, and I really like that. However, obviously, every piece of wood is different, so every neck will look different as well. The fingerboard is laurel, and it's been crafted nicely, and the frets have been fitted properly as well. Strangely, in the past you could always tell a cheap guitar because the edges of the frets were always sharp. However, Donner seem to have mastered this, and they can still produce a cheap guitar, but with nicely rounded frets. I actually have to keep reminding myself that this is a cheap guitar, because it actually has the look and feel of something that costs way more. Working my way down the neck to where it meets the body, and the joint is perfect. The neck fits perfectly into the pocket, and it's held in place with a neck plate that's got the Donner logo on and looks really good. All the chrome work is good, and the finish of the body is flawless. In fact, it's difficult to photograph because my camera keeps focusing on the reflections in the surface. The scratch plate is a pretty standard 3-ply white, black, white, and the white is slightly off-coloured, so it gives it that vintage look, and that just suits the guitar down to the ground. The pickups and the tailpiece bridge are all nicely engineered, and they've got all the adjustments you'd expect from a guitar of this type. So if you want to spend some time setting up this guitar really nicely, I think you could. The control plate again is really nicely made, and the chrome is flawless, and the volume control and the tone control are really smooth, and they come in evenly and uniformly as well. I've gone over the whole guitar in detail, looking for something that I can use to bring balance to the review. There's got to be something wrong with it, right? But sadly, I can't really. And this is amazing for a guitar of its price. The only things that I can say, which I've already mentioned, is the fact that the frets could do with a polish, and I'd be tempted to replace the machine heads with ones with a higher gearing ratio, so it isn't quite so sensitive when you're tuning it. But that's not a must do, it's a maybe in the future job. Before we do any more tests of the guitar, let's take a look at what accessories come with it. The accessories all come in a neat little Donner bag, so you can keep them all tidy together. And in the bag are a guitar strap, a tuner, an instrument lead, 2 Allen keys to set the guitar up, some picks, a spare set of strings, and a capo. Right, I'll tune the guitar up again using the provided tuner, and then I'll plug the guitar into the provided amp with the provided lead. This way I'll get to try out multiple of the accessories. Right, I'll tune the guitar up again first. I'm showing the tuning of the guitar in real time. This way I can show that the guitar tuner and the machine heads work well. I've also double checked the tuning with a tuner I know and trust, and it's pretty much bang on. The sound test I did earlier with the slideshow was done on my own equipment, so I could better judge how the guitar sounds. Let's try the provided amp now, and firstly I'll try the Bluetooth. To test the amp, I've set up a microphone close to it. This is because the microphone in my camera isn't that good, and it seems to pick up a lot of background noise. Firstly, I'll demonstrate that the Bluetooth works, and I'll do this by playing an MP3 on my phone. To turn on the amplifier, you have to press and hold the power button for a couple of seconds. And then to turn on the Bluetooth, you just do a short press on the power button. Then it takes a moment to connect. The Bluetooth volume is fixed in the amp, so to increase and decrease the volume you have to use the phone or whatever device you're connecting to. This is the third of the Donner mini amps I've tested and reviewed, and in my opinion it's the best sounding one, certainly with Bluetooth. Let's try the guitar now. I'll start with the 3 controls in the center position. The amplifier's also got an overdrive button. However, before you turn this on, it's wise to turn the volume right down and possibly reduce the gain to at least halfway. I decided to fade out here because I literally went on for ages just messing around with the different sounds I could get out of the amp and the guitar. And the little amp is really pretty good, especially the clean sounds. The dirty sounds are kind of the punk sound. They're very dirty and granular. So if this is what you're looking for, it's a great starter amp. The amp is perfectly loud enough for practicing, and you could probably disturb people in the surrounding rooms. However, it's not loud enough for getting together with other musicians. I think it would really struggle. I was messing around with the guitar and amp for ages, and I didn't manage to flatten the battery, so I don't know how long the battery life is. But you'd really want to establish this, because there's no way of knowing how much life is left in the batteries. Just a little Easter egg I found was that the mesh covering the speakers is held on with magnets so you can take it off. But that's neither here nor there, I just thought I'd point it out. If you're buying this guitar kit as a first guitar, or to learn to play the guitar, it's perfectly adequate. However, I can guarantee you, as you get more serious, you'll want to replace this amplifier with a bigger one. But it'll do to get started. Right, let's just remind ourselves of what other accessories came with the guitar. We've looked at the amplifier, the tuner and the lead. However, there's a guitar strap, there's some spare strings, there's a capo, there's some plectrums, and there's the Allen keys for adjusting the guitar itself. And most of these don't need to be reviewed. It's enough just to know that you've got them. I'll just unpack and take a good look at the strap, because I do get questions about these for some reason. I'm just speeding up the unpacking and the fitting of the strap to help prevent the video from getting too boring. The end of the straps where it attaches to the guitar is made of a thick faux leather, which feels very thick and very strong. And the strap itself is made of a canvas material, which again, it feels strong enough to take the weight of a guitar. And on this one, the buttle is made of metal. The strap goes on easily enough, and it quite suits the look of the guitar. There's plenty of adjustment in the strap. I'm 6'2", but I can still get it to hang at a nice height. And this particular guitar, the Telecaster shape, balances really well. I thought I'd covered all the accessories, but there's one big accessory that I've missed, and that's the case. So I'll put everything away into the case and show you what I find as I do it. I'll put the accessories away in their bag first, and then I can store them away in the side pocket. Initially, I put the instructions in the bag with the accessories, but I think this was actually a bad idea. So I'll put the instructions as they are in the side pocket. The side pocket zip is metal and it's very smooth, so there's no problems there. But as with most gig bags, there's padding between the pocket and the actual guitar, but there's no padding between the pocket and the outside world. So don't put anything too fragile in there, because if it gets banged, it'll probably get broken. All the accessories and the instructions fit neatly in the side pocket, and there's actually room for more stuff if you should need it. Right, I'll put the guitar away now, and I'm going to leave the strap on it to see how it fits with the strap in place. The case is just about right for the guitar. Everything fits neatly, all the accessories and the guitar. The only thing you can't fit in is the amplifier, which I wouldn't try to force in. The quality of the bag is pretty good as well. It's made of a canvas-like material, and the zips are all metal and they're all pretty smooth. The handles are a canvas-like material, and they're stitched really well onto the case itself. Plus there's two straps on the back of the case in case you want to carry it over your shoulders. I experimented putting the guitar away with the strap in place, and it fit, but I wouldn't recommend this. If you bang the case, or if there's any weight put on the case, the metal buckles will damage the guitar. So I recommend taking the strap off and putting it in with the other accessories. This way you can be more sure your guitar won't get damaged. I think I've covered everything I need to, and this video's gone on over half an hour, so let's jump to the conclusion. Conclusion. When you consider this guitar is one of the lower end of Donner's range, it's quite hard to believe, because the woodwork is really well finished and the quality of the wood is really good, and the metalwork is also really nicely finished. All the chrome is flawless. The frets could do with a bit of a polish, but this is not a deal breaker. In my first test, I said the only thing I found with the setup was slightly high action. However, as I played the guitar more and more, I found that the intonation was a bit out as well. So, when you receive this guitar straight from the factory, it does need a setup. But one of the great things about this particular model of guitar, the Tele, is that it's a very simple guitar. And it's probably the easiest guitar to set up. So it's the ideal guitar to learn how to set up. I've already made a video on how to set up a Telecaster style guitar, and I'll probably make an update of that video using this guitar. But once the guitar is set up, I couldn't fault it. It plays really nicely, and the neck is quite slim, and it's easy to play. The accessories provided with the guitar give you everything and more than you need to get started with the guitar. And I think the mini amp provided with this guitar is the best mini amp Donner have produced so far. So, to conclude the conclusion, I think this is a really good guitar. With a little bit of setting up, it's an excellent guitar. And it really is hard to believe how cheap it is, because it doesn't show in the quality. The accessories are useful and they're great if you're getting started. But I wouldn't buy this kit for the accessories, I'd buy it for the guitar. And even if you had no accessories, it would be worth the money. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, or if you'd like to see more like it, please like, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and then you'll be notified when you upload new videos. And if you're looking for free guitar lessons with free PDF ebooks, that are the textbooks including all the tablature, visit www.ebooksforguitar.com. And finally, as usual, I have to give a real special thanks to the channel members, because without the channel members, these videos wouldn't be getting made. So a special thanks to you guys. And if you can afford it and you'd like to, consider becoming a channel member. But don't worry if you don't want to. Thank you very much for watching to the end. And until next time, bye for now.